What's going on, guys? JPS back with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to I went to Britain's roughest estate, and it was shocking. So in this video, I believe we're going to be taking a look at Walsall, which is an area 10 miles north of the center of Birmingham, has a higher crime rate than that of Birmingham, and a crime rate that is much higher than the UK's national average. So this video is not to talk crap about the UK or to explore or expose the UK or anything like that. I just think it's important to take a look at the full picture. And again, I'm not saying that the United States is any better. I have to give this preface first because I know people will already be saying things. I'm not saying that the US is any better or that we don't have our own problems, that we don't have dystopian homeless camps up in every city, and there's so many problems here. But I think it's important to take a look at the full picture, see what's going on here. The truth is, this video popped up in my recommended, and I thought it looked interesting. I want to see what are the rough areas in Britain look like. I'm not going to say that I've already been to them because I haven't. You know, some people may think that because of the way I've described some of the areas I visited in past videos, but those thoughts can always be changed, and I do plan on going back to some of these areas I've previously visited to see how my thoughts change. But anyways, let's get right into this. Hit the like button, guys. Hit subscribe. Consider joining the Patreon for full reactions to British shows and movies. Now let's go.
Visit the areas that you probably shouldn't. For this video, that couldn't be more true, as we took a look around one of the most dangerous towns in the UK, and that's Walsall. Walsall is a market town in the West Midlands. It's about 10 miles north of the centre of Birmingham. And like a lot of the Black Country, it's showing serious signs of post-industrial urban decay. According to crimerate.co.uk, Walsall has a crime rate of 152, which is worse than Birmingham, believe it or not, and more than double the UK average, so it's pretty bad. Walsall is also struggling with poverty, being ranked as the 25th most deprived area in the whole of the country. For this video, I took a walk around two of the most dangerous areas in Walsall, and those are Blakeney Heath.
Why are they using drums?
And Calmore Palfrey. Starting in Blakeney, this is the main shopping district, just a few letters missing there, and just behind this area is a street called Dawson Street. Now, the national media has recently described Dawson Street and the surrounding area as Britain's roughest estate, where knife-wielding yobs run wild, among other things, and the local media feel the same as well, calling it a hellhole. And honestly, it scared me. The moment I walked into Dawson Street and filmed the street sign, a woman told me to F off, and then she started making a call on her phone, and I heard her say, "They're filming right now, come and see." I didn't want to find out who she was calling, so I made a quick exit, and I didn't get as much footage from that street as I would have liked. But as you saw, there are boarded up houses, there's junk everywhere, and it probably is as bad as the media is making out. Here is some footage from the surrounding area, which doesn't get much better. Yes, that was a flat rat in the kids' park, and there have obviously been several fire pits burning at night. There are around 400 crimes reported every month just in Blakeney alone, most of which are violent offences and antisocial behaviour. I googled the latest news feed for the area, and it was nothing short of shocking. There are stories about the general antisocial behaviour there, people being shot at, children tearing up pigeons and throwing them into the chippy. Yep. And a young kid was blinded after being stabbed last year.
Okay. One thing I will say, the media definitely doesn't make any of these places, they don't help matters at all. They don't help matters at all. And that's not just with this area, Walsall, but also with just places in general. Like, the media will always, when they see a narrative, they're running with it. But it definitely doesn't look the best, but I've seen areas like this before. This is nothing new. I mean, there's going to be places like this in every country. You can't have good without bad. Otherwise, there's no what is a good area look like? You have to have this to compare it to. But yeah, it definitely doesn't look the best. I'm sure the video is highlighting some of the worst streets. The amount of violent crime is definitely worrisome, and based on that statistic, that means there's over 10 crimes every single day, with at least 4 or 5 of those being violent crimes every single day in Walsall. That is pretty crazy. But such crime rates are pretty small compared to some of the crime rates in places near me. I think about Baltimore's crime rate. Baltimore's a city I'm not too far from, and I don't even want to know what that is. Like, so there's problems everywhere.
That's all I can really say to that. Blakenall is certainly one of the most dangerous estates in the country on paper and off paper too. There's quite a mix of housing across the whole of Blakenall. Obviously you can get some bargains, especially if you want a fixer-upper. Yeah. The average price across the ward last year was in the 168,000 range. My parting thoughts on Blakenall is that it felt dangerous, it smelt dangerous, and I was happy to move on to the next area. Another of the most dangerous areas in Walsall is Calmore and Palfrey, which are two adjoining areas that are often grouped in stats. Things have gotten so bad across these areas this year that there have been news reports describing how many of the residents live in fear, and that the Home Office has funded an extra £1 million to be spent on policing the area. Demographically, Calmore and Palfrey are very different from Blakenall. Blakenall is a predominantly white area, while this area is predominantly an Asian area. Walking around, it's hard to ignore just how much litter there is everywhere, and there is obviously a very serious fly tipping problem. It's similar to what I've seen in some of the other West Midlands areas we've covered, like Smethwick and parts of Wolverhampton, and it also reminded me of areas in Slough. It feels like if you poke your head around any bush, corner or wall, you're just going to see loads of junk dumped there. And the more anti-fly tipping signs you see, the more fly tipping there seems to be, either right next to the signs or just around the corner. Just look at some of these shots here. It's amazing to me that areas can be this messy and covering such a wide area. Although honestly, I'm starting to get used to it as I'm seeing it more and more across the UK.
It's a fly tipping sign right there and you can see everything. This is just sad. I mean, this is just sad. Like, how can you walk up and down these streets every day with all this trash? It's a shame, really. But
although honestly, I'm starting to get used to it as I'm seeing it more and more across the UK. There are a couple of high-rise tower blocks here near to the main shopping district, which often creates an antisocial hotspot.
I love how the music is so relaxed.
Here's a look around the shopping area. It's quite a large district, which is typical within Asian communities. There's quite the mix of world food shops, takeaways, local businesses, and of course there are a few bookies. Walking around a couple of the housing estates, it was more of the same. There was loads of litter everywhere, more fly tipping. And although it's a pretty busy area and there weren't a lot of closed up shops or boarded up houses, it's obvious that the area is struggling. Browsing some recent headlines, it's a reminder of just how dangerous this area is. There are endless reports of violent incidents and serious assaults, with some pretty crazy stories like cars being attacked by groups of masked assailants.
This headline is crazy, but damn.
People fighting with machetes in the local park, stuff like that. Here is one of the knife amnesty bins we saw, set up by the James Brindley Foundation, which is a charity that was set up in memory of James, who was stabbed to death back in 2017. The West Midlands has a serious knife crime problem, one of the worst in the country, and it's skyrocketing year on year, so we can only hope that projects like this do help to reduce those numbers. The average house price across Calmore and Palfrey over the last year was around 181,000. And I'll leave it on that note. This was a look at two of the most dangerous areas.
I'm sorry. Wow.
And I'll leave it on that note. This was a look at two of the most dangerous areas in Walsall, which itself is one of the most dangerous towns in West Midlands. I'd love to hear from anyone who...
Okay, so yeah, we took a look at two areas within Walsall. That's what I was wondering why they had different. Okay, anyways. So yeah, property very cheap, high crime rate, lots of litter, maybe struggling local economy. That's what I saw in this. So honestly, was anything shocking in this video? Probably not. I think the knife crime is the most shocking thing for me just because I'm not used to that. And you could definitely argue that knife crime is better than gun crime, but still it's still very bad. And those issues are always going to exist. Like, if you don't have, and then look, they ban knives. Okay, what's next? Okay, we're using clubs, and they ban clubs. What's next? Well, it's just fist fighting problem. Like, that's never gonna go away. So, final thoughts. Like I said at the start of this video, every single country is gonna have areas like this. I mean, I don't know a single place that doesn't, and if there is, please let me know. I'd love to check it out. But the UK it's not perfect. The US is not perfect, and if we can take a look at these areas and see how we can make them better, see what are the underlying problems that lead to all this stuff. Like, why is, and are those underlying problems, is it possible to remedy them, or are areas like this always going to exist? That's kind of what I was wondering. Because of course you want to uplift everyone and create every place to be a place that you would want to live in, but is that really possible? I don't know. Some interesting questions. If there's anyone who lives in Walsall in the comments or watching this video, please let me know, like, what is it like? Because again, this is just one video, one source. I don't know what streets this guy chose to walk up and down, so maybe I'm not getting the full picture. And also, for anyone who lives in the West Midlands or Black Country, let me know what it's like. I actually looked up a bit about the Black Country, and I think it's called the Black Country because of the coal seams or something like that. So there was a constant black fog or something. I don't really know the whole thing behind that, but of course Birmingham at the center of the Industrial Revolution, so it's not surprising that the surrounding areas would be like that. And I wonder how that was like once the Industrial Revolution started slowing down, like how this area was affected. So a lot of stuff to check out from a historical perspective. I definitely want to revisit Birmingham because my first visit to Birmingham was very limited, and I kind of feel bad about the way I went about that. So anyways, there's always time to fix things, so that's what I'll be doing. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.